Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mishra, and if you're new here, I do videos about budgeting and personal finance and my debt-free journey, the good and the inevitable bad. So there is only one more day until December. This year literally went by so quickly. So today what we're going to do is we're going to budget my December. So what I normally like to do is before the month starts, I like to put all my numbers into a Google spreadsheet. So I have a link below to the one that I use. I purchased it off of Etsy. I just do this basically to kind of see like, okay, with the income I have coming in and the expenses I have going out, do I have enough money for the month? And so these days I do. There was a time when I wasn't making as much money, or I might have had a little bit more debt. So it was kind of iffy how the month is going. But luckily, we're no longer at that point. But I still do this first. And then what I do is when I actually receive my paycheck, then I will budget my paycheck in YNAB. So I also have a link in the description box for YNAB. You can get a free trial for 34 days free. And if you end up subscribing, I'll get a month free and then you'll get an additional month free. So that link is down below. So that's what I do. Like when I'm doing my actual paycheck, I'll put that paycheck, say it's like $1,000 or something, I'll put that paycheck into YNAB, and then I will distribute how I'm going to budget my paycheck just for that amount. So anyways, let us get into the December budget. Okay, so first we're going to start with our income. So the month of December is a little bit of a higher income month for me, especially this December, for one reason being that we have statutory deductions like CPP and EI. And depending on your income, when you get closer to the end of the year, if you've contributed the max to those things, then you get that money back, or you don't have to contribute anymore. So it basically means you get more in your paycheck. Normally, my paycheck would be about $7,000, $7,049. And that's after I get another thing that I get to claim through taxes. But this month, it should work out to be $7,810. So it's almost just under $800 more than I normally get for my regular pay. And then so side hustle. So I do some side stuff on the side that allows me to bring in additional income, which I'm so thankful for. And actually, so fun fact, I used to back when things were tighter, I wanted a side job or a side hustle, even if I could make $500 a month, but I couldn't find one. And then you know what happened? I got laid off from my job. And then after that, a part of the job that I was doing, I could do kind of on contract. So the job I got laid off from ended up being part of my side hustle. Would you imagine? But anyways, so for the month of December, I will make $1,300 in my side hustle income, and then CCB, so Canada Child Benefit. So this is something that we get for the government based off of your income. Everyone gets it based off your income if you have children. Mine is $933. And so it will be like that until next year, June. And then in July, depending on what my income was for this year, that dollar amount might change. And then other. So I don't normally have anything in this other category, but it just so happens that I will be doing some additional work. I guess you could say side work. And so I think it will be more than $1,000, but I wanted to kind of lowball that because I'm not exactly sure what it will end up being. So that will be an extra $1,000 that I don't normally get in the month. So if we look at my income for the month, it is $11,000, $11,043. So that is a great way to end the year. And I'm very grateful that that's even a thing. Now we'll move on to our bills. So right off the top, I always give. So that will be $1,100. I know that seems like a lot of money, but my income also is a lot higher for the month of December. So that just kind of goes hand in hand. My rent, as usual, is $2,850. So I live in a 3-bedroom townhouse, and that doesn't include utilities or anything like that. And so the next one is my utility bill, Wise, I guess. and I'm budgeting $120. It might be a little bit less than that, but I think budgeting $120 makes sense. And then OPUC, that's my electricity, and I'm budgeting $80. Again, it's a little bit, I think it's like $79, something like that. So we're budgeting 80. And then my cell phone. So I pay for 2 cell phones and internet and a little bit of cable TV, even though I do not own a TV. It was just part of my package from before, and since I moved, I haven't bought a TV. So that's $190. And then subscriptions. So I know $380 seems like a lot for subscriptions, but that includes like accounting software, tax software, like Microsoft, storage. Like it's a lot of different things, but my accounting software is the highest amount. And that covers almost, it's just a little bit less than half of the subscription cost. So that's okay because I definitely have the income to offset those dollar amounts. And then car insurance. So this is car insurance and renter's insurance, $323. And then I pay for other insurance for my family. And so that comes to $420. So my total bills and subscriptions for the month of December will be $5,463. Now we'll go on to our variable expenses. So when I was doing my budget, I put in kind of like the basic stuff that I normally do. And then because I had an income that was a bit higher this month, I still had about $2,500 left over. So some of these amounts will be higher than I normally budget because I knew I had a little additional money and I kind of padded some of these areas. So groceries. Normally I budget $200 a week for groceries. In the month of November, I spent about $1,000. And so I figured that since it's the Christmas holidays and my kids will be home for, I think, 2 weeks, there's probably going to be eating a lot more like snacks and food and stuff like that. So I increased this to $1,000 for the month of December. And fuel, I will have about a week, I think, that I won't be going to work. So I shouldn't be driving as much. So I just budgeted $50 a week. That's pretty standard. So eating out, normally I think I budget $200 for eating out. But honestly, like things have just been a lot. And so when things are a lot, if I have a lot of meetings or, you know, like I work 10-hour days. So if I come home and I just feel like I don't have time because I have something else to do, we will just eat out. So because it's just a busy season, wrapping up the year, I figured I would budget a little bit more. So normally budget $200, but I'm budgeting $434. And again, because I know I have more income coming in, I don't mind doing this so that at least I know that it's in my budget. So for personal, I normally budget $100. This month I'm budgeting a little bit more. I'm putting $200 towards myself. And for my kids, I normally budget about $100. So they get like an allowance for doing some core tasks in the house. That's about $66 for the 3 of them for the whole month. And then I just padded that because it is the Christmas season. Maybe I want to go and do an activity with them or something like that. So for kids, we're putting $200. Miscellaneous, there's always just stuff that comes up that we don't anticipate. So I used to budget $200 a month in this miscellaneous category, but I've upped that to $400. Gifts, I don't really, actually no, my niece has a birthday. So I'm not going to spend $100 on her, but I still just decided to put $100 in the gift category because you never know. I mean, it's the Christmas season, so maybe I'll want to give a little extra somewhere. My gym membership is $46. I have a business expense. I put $125. I can't really remember what it or how much it will be, but in the past few years, they always give a discount before the end of the year, but I never budgeted for it. So I ended up getting it in the new year and having to pay a lot more money. So I decided to put it in the budget. Home, I don't necessarily need anything for my house, but I still decided to put $100 because I do, again, have a little extra money. So our total variable expenses for the month of December are $2,805. Like I said, after I had put in some of these basic stuff, like my bills and my subscriptions and some of this other stuff, I had about $2,500 left over. So now we're going to get into where we look at our debt and our savings and all of that good stuff. And we'll decide what we're doing. So with debt, I normally have one debt that I pay loan. It's $350. I don't pay any extra on it right now because I'm okay with paying $350. And I know that it has an end date. So that's just what we do for that. When it comes to my credit card, so I want to pay off the credit card by the end of the year, and I probably can do this. But for some reason, putting this much money on my credit card just kind of like, I don't know, it makes me cringe. Like, I don't know, kind of like, what if I need this money? Which truthfully comes from just like a scarcity mindset. But we're going to do this. So in my budget, I have $1,000 to go towards my credit card. And I'm hoping that will basically just like wipe out the rest of the debt and then I won't have to pay interest on my credit card anymore going forward. There may be some residual or something like that, but I'm hoping that this kind of clears that out. And then mostly what would be on my credit card is anything that I used but I had in my bank account and I just paid off, or my subscriptions that I also just pay off once per month. Let's see how that one goes. Okay, so now if we go over to our investments. In my tax-free savings account, I am contributing $200 a month. I used to do this from before, but then I had stopped for a little bit and I just started back, I think, maybe like 3 months ago, 3 months ago. So $200, and then I have a registered education savings plan for my kids, and so I'm contributing $75. So after my debt is paid off, or I feel like I have enough savings and I'm just like secure, I will contribute more to this. But my kids are still young enough and have a little bit of time until they do go into college or university. So $75 is what I'm doing for now. And then I have a Wealthsimple investment account that automatically $50 just gets taken out of my bank account after I get paid and goes into that account. So the total of my investments for the month is $325. And now we're going on to savings. I do want to build up my emergency fund. I did build it up to $1,000. Actually, I think it was more than $1,000. And then I had a car repair that cost me $500. But I think it's back already up to the 1,000. So I have savings of $1,000. But I do want to put more money into that. So I've decided that I will contribute $900 in the month of December for this. And then another thing is there's like a tax credit that I get through payroll each month. But in order to get it, you have to apply and then the government sends back a letter to you. And we've had some postal strikes and delays and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that I get my letter before January. But if I don't, I also just want to put money aside so that if January ends up being a lower income month. So if I don't get the tax credit, then my income will be reduced by about $1,200 until I get the letter, and then they can process it properly. So anyway, so I'm going to put $900 into my emergency fund. And then I figured car maintenance, like there's always something that needs to be done. Like I think even right now, I should probably get new wipers, and winter's coming. So no. Winter is here. Winter is completely here. So I figured I'll just put $200 into car maintenance because I have a little extra money and I know that's an expense that just comes up randomly. So if we just look at everything on a whole of what we budgeted, my income was $11,043. Variable expenses was $2,805. And then my bills and subscriptions was $5,463. Savings, $1,100. Investments, $325. And then I will be paying $1,000 onto my credit card. And my debts, other than my credit card, is $350. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm paying down $1,000 of debt. I'm saving / investing at least $1,400 for the month. So I think that's pretty good. Like, so I'm very, very happy with that. And this is my zero-based budget for the month of December. I'm happy with it. I think this is a pretty good position to be in going into 2026. But anyways, thank you for sticking around. watching my video. I hope this may have helped you in looking at a different way to budget, and I will see you in the next paycheck. Bye.